I want you to change the words a little bit as you hear this. These shoes ain't made for walking.
You got something for me. Something you call love, but confess. You've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been messin'. And now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking. And that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Yeah. You keep lying when you ought to be truthin'. And you keep losing when you ought to not bet. You keep saying when you ought to be a-changin'. Now what's right is right, but you ain't been right yet. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you.
So, the title of this speech in honor of National Osteoporosis Month is High Heels. Are they sexy? Or they are a fracture waiting to happen? Now, how many of you, raise your hands, myself included, thought that some of those legs in those high heels were sexy? Pretty unanimous. I'll ask you again what you want to do about that at the end of this. What my purpose is in this persuasive speech, number 9, is to inform you about the dangers of wearing high heels, especially for women over 40, to convince you that the risks of following fashion can be serious, especially late in life, and inspire you to tell the women you love you like their legs, no matter what footwear they wear. And why are high heels dangerous, especially after 40? Well, shift happens in people's bodies, both men and women, by the way. And the lowering of body fat to the hips reduces the hormones in both men and women, and lower bone density results. This is Barbie, the original Barbie, 50 years ago, 50-some years ago, and she was in high-heeled shoes. This is the Barbie that they are selling today, who is in high-heeled boots. She's at least 20% less body weight, and it looks like she's aged and got osteoporosis. The craze about high heels started with the Sex and the City ladies. Look at those shoes. Their show is much more about relationships than women than it is fashion. So, are high heels hot, or are they risky, or both? Changes in your posture happen, and your overall balance gets thrown off, and puts you at the risk of being unstable and sprains. And wearing heels on a narrow stiletto, the smaller the pressure point of the heel makes it more dangerous. Plantar fasciitis a very painful ankle arch of the foot condition can result. And the pressure on the heels increases from a 1-inch heel, 22%, and by the time you get to a 3-inch heel, 70%. But these shoes that are being advertised in today's media, this is from the New York Times, have a 6-inch heels. Other things can happen besides fractures, and I'm going to get to those. The narrow and more contorted the front or the pointed toe of the heel is, the toes constrict, and the tight fit of many of those heels can actually, over a long period of time, force the toes to shape, and the condition called Morton's neuroma takes place, and inflammation of the nerve can result. Also, injuries from ankle sprains, bunions, hammer toes are common in women that wear high heels, especially with knee pain. It pushes pressure on the joints and the tendons and the kneecap up to 20%, leading to osteoarthritis and tendonitis. When the heel's constantly elevated, the calf muscle and the Achilles tendon can contract and shorten, acute tendonitis. But I am much more interested in the staggering statistics about fractures. 1 in 2 women and 1 in 4 men over 50 will have a fracture sometime in their lives. And a lot of women are dressing the following fashion in their later years. 40 million people in the United States already have bone density at the levels of osteoporosis. And in the frail elderly, the very elderly, fractures are a leading cause of death. Because once people have a fracture and they can't move and they stay bedridden, it's the end of the story. What do we do to assess our risk of fractures? Aged women are at greater risk, thinness is a risk, but a personal history of a broken bone since menopause is even greater. How can we reduce fracture risk? Don't smoke, watch your alcohol, safeguard your feet, and wear good shoes. And are these sensible shoes, medium heel, high shoes? And even sandals and platform shoes are not good for fractures. And the latest, this is More magazine, which is geared to women over 40. Latest issue, platform shoes. Elton John would probably fall over and have a fracture with these. This is a story in there about constant movement being good for your metabolism, and the woman has on a 6-foot heel. This is a story in this magazine about how to be employable in 10 years. And she's hang-timing it over a ladder. I think she's not going to be too employable in 50 years at that. So we talked about the pressure on the shoes. So this 9-inch heel, which was predicted in a fashion magazine, is out of the question. And even Lady Gaga and Madonna and some of the people that wear these shoes, this is her falling, and she has on 6-inch platforms. So keep your future fracture-free. Do weight-bearing exercise. If you must wear high heels, take them off on your trip home. And find ways to combat the fashion industry. Don't buy these magazines. And wear these sensible shoes, the most sensible ones. These boots are made for walking, even in New York City. So tell the people you love in your life not to wear high heels, and that you like how their legs look anyway. Thank you.